that's me. This week is another compilation video for you guys. I've been doing a compilation video roughly one every other month. I know that not all of you love the compilations and that's totally fine, but a lot of you actually do enjoy the longer format content. Realistically, it really helps me a lot to have a little bit of a rest built into my schedule where I know I don't have to create a new video for this week, and that just gives me a little bit of extra time to work on all my other projects. Thank you so much for your understanding. Even if this isn't your favorite type of video ever or the preferred type of content for you to watch, I do appreciate you being understanding and realizing that I have a lot on my plate. This is really good for me. Anyway, today's compilation is all of my cat characters. I have made a lot of cats. I was gonna do top 10 cats, but then that didn't feel like enough. So then I was gonna do every single cat, and that's still kind of what I'm doing, although I did get rid of a couple of them because we were getting a little on the long side. I ditched a few cats. Okay, I'm gonna be real. I ditched Cupcat, I ditched Sweet Roll. We won't be seeing Nancy in this compilation, so there are a couple, but this is nearly every cat that I've created on my channel. You are gonna see a wide variety of footage, and we're just gonna be bouncing all around. So you're gonna see anywhere from videos that happened like 6-7 years ago to videos that happened a couple months ago. The thread that ties it together is cats. I hope you guys enjoyed this compilation. Let's get into it. Okay, and now it's time for my cat cone. Cats plus ice cream equals perfect. The squishy does have its problems. There's a large chunk missing from the cone, which I actually didn't see until I was filming this. I think I was blinded by love. Also, a huge rip and lots of cracking. I do appreciate how the one on top looks happy and the one on the bottom is like not having it. First, I need to repair the rip, and my fabric glue is looking a little rough. It kind of exploded, so I get to deal with that mess now. I'm gonna glue that rip up and band it closed, and look at them, still smiling, still annoyed. And after letting it dry and removing the rubber bands, the rip is looking much better. Now I'm gonna turn my attention to the chunk. I'm using some memory foam and fitting a little piece in there and gluing it in place. Then I'm gonna trim off the excess and coat it in lots of paint to try to cover it up, which was kind of working. And while I'm at it, I'm gonna seal the other cracks as well, because you never wanna have your cracks showing. That's not classy. Once all that dries, I'm gonna pick from my large array of mixed tan paint, and I'm gonna paint over the cone with basically the same exact color as before. Yeah, I'm not too adventurous when it comes to the cone. I basically just stick to the classic. Maybe I should try something different next time, I don't know. Now I'm gonna paint the bottom cat with some light blue, and you can see by my light pink paint that's open for no reason because I didn't use it until much later. I'm gonna do a cotton candy theme, and you have no idea how long I agonized over this idea. I mean, this squishy was my sweetheart, my precious, and I wanted to do something good, but I was scared to do anything too crazy, so I went with a cotton candy theme, which is kind of a classic for me. I did kind of like the solid colors on the cats, but they also looked a little plain, so I used a toothbrush to remove plaque. I dipped it in paint and then took most of the paint off so that it was almost dry, just a tiny bit of paint left, and then I used it to create some little speckles to look like cotton candy bits and just give it a little texture, make it a little bit more interesting. Most of the time, cotton candy ice cream has something like that going on, so I thought it'd be a nice addition. And now I'm gonna focus on some of the details of the faces and whatnot. I really like the one happy, one annoyed idea, so I'm gonna steal that, but I'm going to exaggerate it so that it's more obvious. So the pink cat is even more happy and the blue cat is even more annoyed. We gotta be extra with this kind of thing. Okay, let's get all these intruders out of here. So we still have this magenta ice cream kind of poking out, so I used a thick layer. How many times have I said the word thick in this video? I feel like I've said it a lot. Thick coats of paint. Too thick though. A little thicker than I intended. Anyway, a thick layer of white paint because I'm gonna add some 3D cotton candy bits on here, and I made these out of polymer clay specifically for this squishy. I went above and beyond for my precious. That's getting borderline creepy now. The big question is, are these technically sprinkles? I don't know. They did somewhat satisfy my sprinkle obsession, but they're different. And I am sealing this one as well because I did use that matte paint, and I'm also using that to secure the cotton candy chunks on there. There's a lot going on this squishy, but I hope it's not too much. I think it looks super cute and I'm really happy with it. There is a little scar where the missing chunk was, but I think it's a pretty decent patch job. There was a lot of effort and detail put into this one. It took forever, but I'm super happy with it. It's just lovely. Ooh, Ooh, and that butt. Let's get on with this, shall we? Here's squishy roasting. Now, before you crazy fanatics sprint to the comment section to inform me, yes, I am aware of who this cat is. It's Garfield. Somebody wrote this on the back. I love Harry Potter. Okay. Anyway, I've actually had my eye on this cat for a long time. Kind of had to since people keep sending it to me. But honestly, I've been too scared to change it because Harry Potter fans can be a little intense. Alright, yeah, I know this is Harry Potter. I'm gonna go ahead and change the precious Harry Potter. I'm feeling brave.
Don't kill me.
On to the makeover. First thing I want to do is ditch these glasses because it's my character now and this character happens to have 20/20 vision. Lucky. Next, I'm gonna do a quick sanding. Oh boy, we got a flaky one. Ugh. I hate when they get like this. It's time to start cleaning up the mess that I made. Using some nice festive green puffy paint. I'm gonna spread a nice thick layer of that over the face to smooth out the surface. Basically, I'm just building a new skin here since I've just ruined its once perfect complexion. I'm sorry. Okay, that's looking pretty good, right? Now it's time for the base coat. I'm gonna apply some white paint over the entire squishy for a nice fresh start. And voila, blank canvas for me. The face looked pretty smooth to me, but as soon as I started painting, there's a little bit more lumpiness left over than I realized. That's okay. I like that. Now that I got my cat all beautifully colored, it's time for
The beautiful color.
everyone say hi. The rainbow is here. Now this squishy is going to be my more winter themed design. It's not specifically for Christmas. I saw this scarf and I just could not resist. It was too perfect of a rainbow opportunity. Although of course there weren't enough stripes to complete the rainbow cycle perfectly. This cat is really reminding me of Catty cake. Similar colors, similar rainbow band, similar rainbow cycle not being repeated perfectly. It's all very deja vu, minus the cake part. So this is not Catty cake. It cannot be Catty cake because you can never uncake the Catty cake. This is just Catty. No, Cathy with a C. Like cat. Cathy. Now I'm just gonna clean up the edges of the scarf. Ooh, so satisfying. One thing I just loved about this squishy is the way that it's standing with its face pointing up. It's like up. It's hard to describe. I'm just gonna act it out. It's a very expressive pose, but the face was just kind of like this blank stare. So I wanted to redesign the facial expression to match the pose. So I went with this big cheesy smile. Yes, like that, thank you. It was a little bit nerve-wracking because this is quite a different facial expression than I normally do. I just hope it's not too vampire-y. Does it look too vampire-y? I spent some time tweaking it and trying to get it to look right. And here is the before and after. For the safety of myself and my family, I must say, I mean no disrespect to Harry Potter, but I kind of prefer the new design. The color scheme is just more my style, and the face. Oh, I love that face, Cathy. You're too much, girl. She is just smiling to the ceiling. All right, there we are. Just rolling in, rolling in. Now, as I'm here trying to decide what to do with this, every design idea that comes to mind is put to a violent halt when I realize this thing is in the way. What even is this? It doesn't really even make sense on the original design. Is it a scarf? Is it a life preserver? I don't know, but it's in my way. What if we just turn this around like that? And then, oh, it looks like a cake. It's a cake now. I'm gonna make cake. I couldn't resist. Let's prep this for painting. I had the dumb idea that sanding this may help the paint stick better. Even she knows it's stupid. That did nothing, and let's just pretend like I didn't even try it. Skipping to the gesso, this is all I really needed to do to prep for paint. Just a nice white base coat over the whole thing. And yes, I am painting over that little ripply seal. No, not you. Go away, Celia Evangelina Diamithis. First of all, rude. This seal, I'm painting that because I'm no longer using this as a cookie jar. Moving on to prepping the bottom half of the jar, or cake. It's now cake. And do you know what I'm doing here? I'm preparing to paint. Did I mention that? Paint. Did you hear me? Paint! Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll, please. It's time for paint. Time to roll out our colors. I'm gonna cry. Grabbing the Big Daddy right here, and I'm gonna start with the color Vanilla Cake. Nilla is our representative. Hey girl! And oh, that's a good color. Yes! And here we go. First paint stroke with my first paint set. Ah! Please do not hold your applause. I said do not hold. That means applause. Thank you. I need to stop. So since today is the day that I'm launching my new paint set, I made it a challenge for myself to include every single one of the colors in the set so that you can really see how these colors could potentially be used. So, vanilla cake, check. Next, I'm bringing in the waffle cone color. I'm using this color to paint in all of the fur details. I guess they're now like little cake dimples or something. I don't know. I love that there's a little clearing on the sides of the nose. It's the perfect spot for blush. So using my strawberry pink, I'm adding some nice rosy cheeks and adding a little pink nose and the little cute pink ears. Oh, I love this already. Next is milk chocolate, and this color, it's delicious. I probably would have changed the way the face was designed on this. However, there are very deep imprints where the old face was, so I kind of have to stick with it. I had no choice. Although I'm not complaining. I mean, I am, but not like too much because this actually came out pretty cute. I feel like just changing the colors makes it look so much cuter. I mean, wow. Look, it's dead. It's alive. Dead, alive. For the top of the head, I added a nice puddle of chocolate. Oh, look, I grew an extra left hand. Once I finished with that, oh my gosh. It's so cute. I added a bunch of rainbow sprinkles on top. Okay, sprinkle song. Just cut me off like that. So that's the head. Now about the base. The main color of the base is going to be white. And this white paint is not a part of my paint set. I chose not to include basic colors like black and white because this set is more about the unique colors that are really hard to find. You can get black and white paint just about anywhere. And here's where we bring in the full pastel rainbow. Although technically I already used these on the sprinkles, but that's okay. You didn't even notice that, did you?
Yeah, I think I did.
So here we go. The colors: strawberry, orange fishy, Georgie, pickle, derp, and bumble bear. Also, by the way, just to clarify, I named the colors after the characters just for fun. It doesn't necessarily mean that these are the exact colors of those characters. Okay, can we just keep that in mind? Now, I've decided to bring in these rainbow colors onto the bottom of the cake on this weird little band thing. Yes, it's weird and I hate it, but I also realize it's kind of the perfect place to bring in my rainbow colors because it's stripes and, you know, they're already divided. And oh no, I just realized this is not the correct number of stripes to repeat the rainbow evenly. Okay, so I had to do one of these weird situations. Ew. I'll just make sure that that side is facing the back. Now, going for a few more layers on these colors, I will say, like most paint, you will need a couple layers to build up the color. It's especially hard to get really opaque paint with super light colors, so you just have to build them up a little bit. I tested and tested and tested this paint. Swatched the heck out of these colors, but this is the first time that I'm actually using them on a full-size project. Side note, I did notice that the purple in particular looks very light. Is it a tad bit too light? But then again, I still think that all the colors look super pretty together, so I am so happy with how the set came out. Once I've gotten the rainbow band solid, I need to go over that edge to neaten everything up, which is, oh, so satisfying. That's gonna take a couple coats to cover all that up. Now, doesn't it look like cake?
No.
No, it doesn't at all. So I decided it needed some drips to dessert this thing up. I'm painting those on. The first coat of the milk chocolate looks kind of, it's like orangey, but then after a couple coats, it really matures into that luscious chocolate that I just love. I'm of course gonna paint on some sprinkles in each color of the rainbow, skipping the sprinkle song this time because we've already played it. Oh, and about the gaping hole there. I left it like that because the top of this is gonna be covered up anyway, and voila, here they are, top and bottom back together. Did you miss each other? Now, I could just be done here, put this thing together as a regular functioning cookie jar, but no, of course, I'm not gonna let that happen. I'm making a cake, a cat cake. I call it Catty cake. To make Catty cake a reality, I need my gun. I'm gonna apply hot glue all over the bottom of the head, stick that on, and then I just went all around stuffing all the little gaps with hot glue. There, head attached. However, we have a problem. This area right here, this really large area right in the center of everything, it's horribly, horribly ugly. So I'm just gonna caulk it like a bathtub. You'll see. Cutting that open, squeezing it out. Oh, that looks... I want to eat that. I have a piping bag in this very large piping tip. What's in there? Opening my piping bag and just squeezing all of that stuff into there. And we're ready. And I'm nervous. I'm very, very nervous. You see me shaking? This is like a kind of one-shot scenario, and my piping skills are not a thing. So this should be good. I found this very awkward position. Okay, comfortable? Catty cake? No. Good, here we go. Oh, well, that's not so bad. All right, just keep going. You got this. This was actually surprisingly easy. The caulk came out so smooth, and even though it was completely terrifying, I actually really enjoyed it. I want to do it again. Badly. I will do it again. Soon. Consider this your warning. I went all the way around back to where I started on the front, which was clearly stupid because now there's a seam right in the front. Well, there it is. It wasn't perfect. You know, there are a couple gaps here and there, so with the end of a paintbrush, not my beautiful rainbow gradient brushes, but just a regular ugly one, I just tried to, you know, move it around, cover that up. Then for the top of Catty cake's head, I made a nice gooey dollop. Ooh, wow, that looks so good. And then time for a snack. I bought a whole bunch of fake fruit, really just for this single project, when in reality, I only needed one cherry. Thank you. I found some pastel sprinkles that I made a really long time ago, and the colors just match perfectly with my paint set colors. Sprinkle those on. Geez, this is like the third opportunity to play the sprinkle song. Finally, I have these little fake chocolate chips, and I decided to use those to try to hide any little boo-boos in my frosting job. And here is the before and after. And whoa, okay, Catty cake is no joke. This is not the place for restraint and subtlety. There's sprinkles on frosting, on sprinkles on chocolate, on frosting, on sprinkles on chocolate, with a cherry on top. It's a lot, but I do think that it does look like a giant cat cake. I'm so happy with the frosting on top. It looks so beautiful and clean. The middle section is B+. I wish it were a little bit neater. It doesn't quite fit with my perfectly neat and everything in its place aesthetic, but for my first try at something like this, it's not bad. For this one, you guessed it, we're going with Strawberry's Grumpy Companion. Once again, I'm applying a white base coat with fabric paint. Now, I've always called her, you know, her. She's always been the grumpy cat in my head, but I feel like that's not the best name because, well, Grumpy Cat has been done. Rest in peace. So I need a new name, a synonym for grumpy, maybe. Let's see, synonym for grumpy. Irritable, cranky, grouchy, sullen, morose, surly, sulky, peevish, petulant, moody, churlish, cantankerous, what cantankerous? More like cat-tankerous. Okay, no, I don't like any of these. How about Grumpy Greta? Where did that come from? I don't know, but I like it. Once I got a nice white silhouette going on here, it's time for the colors. Now, Grumpy Greta, oh, sorry, jump scare. Oh, look, she says hello. She must be in a really good mood. She doesn't usually greet people. She has a pretty distinct green color that I need to try to create. Sorry, can you move over just a bit? You're crowding me. I want to make sure that I'm capturing a pretty similar color to the original Grumpy Greta. This is important because she cannot exist in any other color but this green. Why? Well, as I get into the painting, let me tell you a little story. Fun fact, I made this cat from scratch when I was trying to teach myself how to sew. Instead of doing what any reasonable person would and looking up a tutorial, I decided to just hunker down on the basement floor and struggle. I figured the first one probably isn't going to turn out that well, so I used my ugliest color of fabric so that I wouldn't waste any of the good colors. And so you see, Greta was born. I planned to make an entire line of handmade plushie animals, and they they were gonna live in harmony. Turns out, I actually kind of hated hand sewing. And so after just 2 releases, my line of hand sewn plushies was discontinued. But I still have the 2 precious souls that I made that day. I did make some little changes to the design of this cat. I added a tummy patch, which I kept changing the color of. I also noticed that Greta has a bow both on her head and around her neck. I don't know why there's green fuzz stuck to it. Ever heard the expression, putting a dress on a turd? That's what I was trying to do with the bows. For my painting, I kept the head bow and then just made the one around her neck more of a collar. I think 1 bow is enough. I added some shading and fuzziness all around her to give her that kind of grungy look that she's got going on. And for her eyes, which in reality are some random beads that I found, I turned them into buttons. One much larger than the other. That's intentional.
Really?
No, really, it is. I actually did it on purpose this time.
Did you?
I just wanted to emphasize that kind of derpy handmade look. Finally, once again, using my rainbow of paint colors and adding that to my designated dripping areas. Ew. Now, while Strawberry is happily playing in the paint, Grumpy Greta is kind of drowning in it. She's not super happy about being covered in paint, even though it's rainbow paint. But then again, she's never really happy about anything. So don't stress about her mental state. Okay, nobody can help her. Speaking of her mental state, does anyone know why she is so grumpy? I'll tell you. It's about the green. Okay, she knew that I had a lovely yellow, a beautiful blue, a stunning purple, but what did I choose to put her in? Grungy green. And it was on purpose. She wasn't worth a nicer color, and that hurts. Last step, just slathering on that protective top coat, and hey, here we go. Oh my gosh, no. Again with the tossing, just stop. Here she is. Oh, Grumpy Greta is working it. I personally actually prefer the painted version. I like the more stylized look of the painting. If I could go back and redo it, I'd probably make them just a little bit smaller because the edges of the painting are landing a little closer to the edges of the pillows than I anticipated, but I still love them so much. Next, I grabbed the less ugly of the 2 galaxy paintings, and I'm going for a very similar concept here. Another kind of cartoony sort of animal in the corner, inspired by the background. It's a galaxy cat, and you can see those eyes are like, woo. Galacticat. I don't know if it's an alien cat or if it's just a regular cat who has been thrust into the galaxy for some unexplained reason. Either way, this idea came into my mind immediately when I saw this background. I knew exactly what I wanted to paint. A tall, yellow, Galacticat, and that was it. Finally, I did go in with the white Posca and try to fix up the kind of derpy looking stars in the background and make them look a little bit more detailed and intentional and less like a 4-year-old did it. And here it is. I like it. It's cute. I wouldn't have had it any other way. I love this little guy. Let me make my design. No. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, let me open it. she's finished. I think she does capture the essence of this dessert, wouldn't you say? Obviously, her fur is like the color of the s'more, and then we have the rainbow and the rainbow ice cream, and then we have the chocolate accents, and the bow is supposed to be the donut. You know, it's not the most magical masterpiece. Her arm is weird. This thing, her elbow is like right here. Yeah. Ignoring the fact that her arm is very wrong. I had a lot of fun making this. I like it. Squishy roasting. Starting with this guy. I think this is overall really cute. It's a nice color, cute face, cute toes. Arms are a little short, but hey, that's fine. But there's one problem. The tail, it's in a position that's a little distracting. Also, it has a nice big rip across its neck. It doesn't really have a neck actually, but you know. But other than all that, it's just, you know, pretty plain. So let's see if we can add a little more personality. I'm gonna start with some sandpaper,
which still has the guts of the last squishy on it.
I'm just using the sandpaper to rip it up a little bit so that the paint is sure to stick. See that texture? That's what we want. Now, I'm gonna do something about this tail. I had to find just the right tool for this job. I'm gonna work my way all the way around, slowly and carefully, trying to cut as cleanly as possible until I've completely removed that thing. Today is not your day, bud. Here we are.
Ew.
I'm not just gonna take his tail away completely, so let's just reposition it. But that open wound is looking rough. So now I'm just gonna trim around the edges to try to smooth it out as much as possible. Now I'm using some fabric glue to reattach the tail. Rubber band it on there until the glue dries. Voila.
Voila.
Repositioning surgery complete. I feel like he still needs something though. Ah, yeah, there we go.
A half-eaten donut? Gee, thanks.
He likes it. I think he should hold this donut forever. So let me just glue that donut onto his belly and oh. Okay, moving right along, I'm gonna take some slick paint and fix all the rips, cracks, and secure the donut on there, which, by the way, has sprinkle scars.
Oh, the tragedy, the injustice, the sheer evil.
And securing that tail on there, as well as covering the raw, squishy flesh in his little
area down there.
And as you can see, there's still some substantial scarring, so I'm just gonna put another nice thick coat of paint straight from the bottle. It's like recreating his skin, a new skin of paint, a paint skin. Once that dries, I'm gonna start painting the cat white. Finally starting to clean this up a little bit, except for the donut, which actually looks like it's
Rotting from the inside.
and after a few coats of that, it's looking so bright. It's blinding me. So I'm going over that with an off-white color to make it look a little softer. Now for his backside, I'm doing the same thing over again. Ugh! And once we get that blinding look, it's time for the cream. Painting that on. Yes, okay, cool. Okay, all right, the whole cat is painted. Wait, not the whole cat. There's still cat in the hole. Let me just paint in that hole
Real quick.
Next, I'm gonna be sketching out a pattern to give this little guy some more detail and character. And I'm using a kind of orangey brown with a chocolate brown for the spots and trying to figure out where I want each color to go. Don't rush me. It's a big decision. I did end up switching the colors around. I want the spots and the colors to look random, but not actually be random.
Which means I have to balance the size, color, and positioning of each spot so that it has an equal visual weight to the opposing color, which creates the illusion of randomness, but it's not actually random.
It's not random at all. I believe they call this type of cat a calico. Kind of looks like a cow. Calico? Catlicow. I've always liked these because the colors kind of remind me of s'mores. I should have made him a s'more to hold instead of a donut. No regrets. I donut. Regret this. Moving on to the back. The spots on the back are kind of
Odd.
This one looks like a tall chicken nugget. I'm hungry. Once I've gotten the spots under control, I'm gonna start finally painting that terrible little donut. So I'm using a cakey color and going around. The edge was very tricky.
Ooh, ooh. Ooh.
And now for the face. I think the pattern was throwing me off. I could not get these eyes lined up, but then again, that's very typical for me. Nose number 1, nope. Nose number 2. You'd think I would be better at this by now. And back at it again with the eyes, some thick whiskers. I don't know why I painted them so thick, but that's fine. I can't forget those little toes. That is an essential detail. And back to the eyes. Yes, I'm doing the eyes like this. I can just hear the comments now.
I hate the eyes. The eyes are creepy. You ruined it with the eyes. I don't need normal eyes.
Rockabye baby.
Maybe I'm just terrible at painting eyes, or maybe I have bad taste. I actually like this style of eyes genuinely. I'm sorry if it enrages you. I frosted the donut, which matches his eyes. Okay, stop with the eye thing now. Hello, my dear friends. Yes, so here we go. Alright, so here's the before and after. This one was difficult because other than the inappropriate tail situation, there really wasn't anything wrong with the design, but it definitely does have a more unique look and a lot more detail now. I don't think his stubby little arms can reach that donut. Sad. Just look at the hunger in his eyes. Let me just help him out there. I think the donut is eating him. But yeah, I think the tail surgery was a success. That's a weird angle.
What you looking at?
To me, he kind of looks like he's floating on a river on his back, casually, with a donut. So I started with some butterfly wings. You know, butterflies, the prettiest insects of them all, minus their extremely creepy bodies. Ew. I tried to create a kind of bear butterfly hybrid, which at the time I hated, but honestly, I'm kind of digging it now. Like, look at him.
He's weird.
But I moved on from that, and I tried a caterpillar. Basically just made it real plump and fuzzy, but not really combined with another animal. I'm not really sure what I was doing here, honestly. Next, I chose a bee, and I gave it a nice plump body, so it's a more animal-ish bee, and I'm kind of liking that, so I decided let's add another one. I'm on a roll. This is a ladybug, but instead of all the skinny, spindly little creepy bug legs, I made her nice, plump, and chubby. So these are kind of cute, but I just feel like I'm not dying of cuteness over here. So to take this a step cuter, for the bee, I added some bear ears to convert it into a bee bear, or excuse me, bear bee. That's his name, don't forget it. And for the ladybug, I added some cat ears and whiskers to turn her into a ladybug cat. Her name is less obvious. Lady, cat, bug, cat, kitty, lady, I don't know. It'll come to me. I originally thought that I was going to do a really flat, simplistic style, but then I realized I do want these to look super fuzzy and huggable. My goal here is to make you want to hug an insect. I don't know about you, maybe you already do, but for me, they don't really make me want to snuggle. Bear bee and kitty bug, there it is, that's her name, they are here to change all of that. I've added a fuzziness around all of the edges to give them a softer look. Then it's time for Bear Bee's sweet face. Oh, he's such a cute little bear bee. And then I started in with some shading. Original plan was to do none shading, but I thought, let's just do a little. And then once I got started, I just couldn't stop. I got lost in it. It carried me away. I kept going because I felt like the shading was really helping to give it that soft, fluffy, squishy, snuggly look. I felt like Bear Bee was just getting cuter and cuter, so I just kept going, and I love him. He's so fuzzy. Moving on to Kitty Bug. So how did I come up with this new and brilliant idea for Insectimals? Wait, did you ask that? No one did? Okay. Well, I'll tell you anyway. I've been thinking about bugs, as one often does. No. Most of the time I don't, but Mini-Me, who is my
Eldest child.
why do I hate when people say eldest? She has a very strong love-hate relationship with insects. She loves to look at them in books and through the window. She can identify more insects than I can. However, when she sees a bug in person, she quite literally freaks out, which same, okay? That's how I feel. I'm not much of an insect person. They make me uncomfortable. I'm worried about them potentially crawling into different orifices. So it made me think, how could I make an insect look cuter where I would actually like them? And clearly the solution is an Insectimal. Now I've completed both of them. Kittybug,
I want to hug you too.
I am taking issue with that foot. That foot is horrible, but I'm leaving it for now and creating a nice background environment. I was very tempted to do a solid color background because I kind of spent way more time on this than I expected, but then I realized they deserve something nice, so I gave them some little grass to sit on, a cute little rainbow in the sky, signed my name to it, and oh, okay, that's
Gorgeous.
I'm sorry. It's gorgeous. There's just one problem. It's that foot. It looks like it's facing the wrong way. So I just kind of redrew the foot. That's the beauty of digital art. And oh my, I am actually in love right now. Maybe you don't agree. Maybe you hate this. If you do, I'm sorry. No, you know what? No, I'm not. I actually don't care. I'm just so happy about it. No one can tarnish my love for Insectimals. After reading through the comments on my last unboxing video, it was very clear that the most popular request was this football-headed stacked cats squishy. I had never seen this squishy in my life, which is saying a lot. But immediately after opening this one, I ended up opening the same exact squishy literally in the very next package. What are the odds of that? It seems like it's fate. So of course, the people want me to fix and paint both of these squishies and turn them into some sort of set.
A set of sets. Twin sets.
So I must find a way to make them communicate with each other, not verbally, but, visually or something. I don't know. I'm confusing them. I don't know what I was trying to point out there. They all have butts. Now that we've established that, let's do some squishy roasting. So these do have the same design, but they also have their differences. This one is really soft.
Mushy soft.
While this one is rock hard. Okay, not rock hard. Rocks don't do that. But it's pretty stiff. They also have their different ailments. This one has a neck tear, seam rippage, missing foot, and a gouge in the belly. I'm a little bit worried about leaking organs. This is not what an innie is supposed to be like.
Hi.
This one just has a missing ear. As far as the design of these, it's just an all pink background with random splotches of purple and yellow. What's with the banana on your cheek? The arms have this weird double layered fur. It kind of looks like they've got two sets of paws. Also, this little tuft of chest hair, I don't think that's helping anybody. The faces are slightly soulless. Maybe they have half of their souls. I decided I wanted to do something bold. I'm going to combine them into one giant squishy, a massive tower of cats.
Ooh.
Before that can happen though, I really need to work on getting these in better shape. Step 1, sand them down a little bit so that the surface of the foam can properly hold on to the paint. They didn't like this too much. Oh, stop whining. Don't tell me this is the most traumatic thing you've ever been through. You've got a missing foot and exposed organs. All right, all cats are sanded. But look, they love each other. No. Stop. Let's focus on you two first. This might hurt. So about the weird tufts of fur, I'm gonna just chop all of that off and I'm gonna try to smooth out these little arms. Of course, I'm never gonna get it completely smooth, but I'd really rather have a slightly rough surface than have to stare at those weird fur tufts. I can't unsee the double layered paws. Okay, ooh, they're gone. Back to a four-legged cat. Get rid of all that debris. And now for Operation Ear Reconstruction. I'm grabbing some plain old memory foam, which is similar in texture to a squishy, and I'm gonna use that to build a new ear. Cutting off little pieces, how's that? And then just shaping that down with scissors, making millions, well, not millions, probably thousands. More realistically, it's probably only hundreds. Okay.
I need to get to the point.
Hundreds of tiny little cuts, and every once in a while just holding it up, trying it on. Hello? So we go back and work on it again, until finally we have a decent looking ear. Can you hear me now? I think she's just stupid. Can't fix that. Got out my fabric fusion glue, and I'm gonna apply some of that and stick the new ear on there. Secure it with a rubber band while the glue dries, and switching squishies. Once again, I'm going to cut off that furry mess that's all over your arms, looking like a woolly mammoth. Also trimming up some of these messy looking seams while I'm at it, and about that foot, or the lack of foot. Here I go trying to reconstruct that. I swear these squishies were just an endless battle of ripping things off and sticking other things on. I was getting a little bit fatigued here, and shaping foam is not my favorite thing to do. So I'll be honest, I didn't do that great of a job on that foot. Maybe nobody will notice. And look at that, we're gonna plug up your open wound there, rubber band those on to dry, and now they're all back together after their various operations. Let's see how we've all recovered. You got a little lint in your belly button. There we go. Everyone's groomed, shaved, got all their body parts. Let's make a cat tower. I'm just gonna rip off the top layer of the foam on the butt of this cat and the head of this one, just enough to expose the roughness of the foam underneath. This is just because fabric glue works a little bit better when it's got more to soak into and grip onto. I'm squeezing all of them into a rubber band to let that dry. I was trying to position them in a way where they could stand up on their own. Clearly that's not happening. Oh well. A few hours later, and they're stuck together nicely. You know what it needs? This. This is a small, very awkward looking ice cream cone, and it's one of those that has a face on both sides. Why do they do that? It's also quite dirty and stained. I'm gonna give it a very honorable position at the very top, so I am gonna ditch the cone. And this cherry on here is so awkwardly small. Looks like a little pimple. You know how I like big fat cherries. So I'm actually just gonna cut that off, and look at that beautiful little surprise. Does that not look beautiful? It's gorgeous. I'm gonna take a screenshot of it and keep it forever. I'm going crazy. So now this blue area, it's gonna be the new cherry. The ice cream scoop itself is going to be the whipped cream because the cat is actually going to be the new ice cream. Oh, whoa. This is an ice cream cone tower of cats, but we still have some work left to do. So I'm taking some slick paint and I'm just going to smother this squishy, filling all the seams, rips, gaps, holes, and covering over those little areas of memory foam so that it blends in better with the squishy. This is where things get really ugly, but it's necessary for really sealing all those parts together and creating a cleaner look in the end. Once that dries, time to start cleaning things up. So I'm applying some white matte fabric paint to work as the base coat for my creation. I don't know if the scale is really coming across, but this is a big squishy, much larger than the typical squishy project of mine. Usually the base coat is just whip, 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 whip. But this took freaking forever just to paint this thing in one solid color. Also, I used like 2 containers of white paint on this, which reminds me, I need to get more white paint. So we have the white base coat finally finished, and now we're getting to the good stuff. Yes, I'm excited. I'm going for it. So my idea here is that this tower of cats is a giant ice cream cone, which means each one of the cats is a different scoop of ice cream. Oops, you didn't notice that change in background color, did you?
Nope. Nope.
They're all scoops of ice cream, except for this cat on the very bottom, because he is, of course, the ice cream cone. I thought I was done with that, then I realized I missed his whole ear. From the front, it looks like his ear is the foot of the cat on top, but no, it can't be, because the foot is back here. Well, whatever. We are moving on to the next cat. This one is going to be a scoop of mint chocolate chip. Let's see, is there a cat pun there? Mint chocolate cat. Mint chalk cat, mint chip. Okay, not really. It's a mint chocolate chip cat. I'm just focusing on the background color for now, getting that squared away, and then we'll come back for the details. Moving right along, this one is going to be 3 flavors in one, otherwise known as Neapolitan. Oof, that foot is still looking a little iffy. Don't look at it. Originally, I was actually going to do 1 strawberry cat scoop, 1 vanilla cat, one chocolate cat, but I decided that was going to look a little too plain, so I changed it to cramming all of those flavors onto one of the cats and then choosing other flavors for the other two.
I am extra, always. And forever.
All right, another one looking good. And for the very top scoop, I'm gonna paint this one in pure white because I'm gonna make this the cookies and cream cat, which reminds me of my very old Squishies. I used to do cookies and cream, this and that. Oh, microphone just attacked me. Hello? Are you there? I used to do cookies and cream all the time, but then, I don't know, I just stopped for some reason.
It's been too long.
Speaking of old Squishies, this isn't the first time I've done ice cream cats. Remember these? Those were simpler times. Okay, and let's travel back to the bottom. So I've sketched on some crisscross waffle cone lines, and I'm just following those. This gets very tricky and wonky. Ugh, the moment I chose this idea, I was dreading this part of the painting because it just gets weird crossing lines like this on such an irregular shape. So I tried my best on this. Is it even? No. Is it good? No. But it looks ice cream cone-ish. Learn to love imperfection. Next, I'm gonna start working on the face. Sketching that out first, and then I'm just gonna place all the little pink details everywhere. For the expression, I went for a very worried look. He looks like he's just got the weight of the world on his shoulders, because he does have the weight of 3 cats on his head. Next, I decided to give this one kind of a goofy looking face. I don't know, her head was kind of tilted. She's not carrying as much weight as the bottom cat, but she's still carrying a lot of weight here, and she's squished, okay? Maybe some brain cells are dying, I don't know. She's never been too bright though, remember. Finally, adding in those chocolate chips as well to finish this off, because it's not mint chocolate chip without the chocolate chip. Oh, it's looking so cute. Okay, now up to the Neapolitan cat, and this one's just kind of dopey. You know, he should really be doing fine. He should be thriving up here, but he's just existing. A little bit lacking in the personality department. What the heck? I just flung a huge chunk of paint right there and somehow didn't notice until then. Yeah, clean that up. Well, now I gotta fix that. All right, back to finishing up the face. This cat just may be my favorite of the bunch. He doesn't really have a lot to say. He's just so adorable. And the very top cat. I haven't been adding any blush to the other cats, but I did add some pink cheeks to this one because the bright white on the face can be a little jarring. So I want to give her some pink cheeks, you know, put a little warmth in that face so she doesn't look like a killer. And of course, she is nothing but happy. Okay, she gets to sit on top of everyone. No one's butt is on her head. No one's killing her brain cells. She's got no worries at all. And at last, adding the cookies to the cream. It looks like a little cat Dalmatian. I like it. And we have reached the very tippy top. Let me not say tippy. We've reached the top. Because I've spent so long on this already, I had a smaller amount of patience left maybe than normal, so I kind of just painted this all at once. If I were being more careful about it, I would have waited for each color to dry before adding another one, but blah blah blah, I can't. So I just threw on the cherry, the hot fudge, the whipped cream, all kind of at the same time. And then of course, this definitely needs some sprinkles. Whoop, I hate when there are interruptions. I was jamming to that. All right, and it's finished. Here's the very awkward way of showing the before and after. It was hard to show the entire thing in one frame, but boy, I feel like they are so much more interesting and full of personality than the originals. I think this turned out great. Also, don't be fooled. No, it doesn't stand on its own. It's just leaning up against the background. It's still very wobbly and can't quite find its balance. I am still in love with this squishy. It was totally worth all the work I put into it. Each one of the cats are unique, but I find them all very cute in their own ways.
Drew
this black cat. The spark for that day was draw a foggy scene. I have a cat squishy and they're pretty similarly shaped. I think I can do it. This cat is kind of cute as it is. It has like some nice galaxy thing going on, but it does look a little bit generic, so I'm happy to redo it. Let's swap it out. Woo, that is so dark. I so infrequently paint with such dark colors. Whoa. Oh my gosh, why is it so cute?
It's a black cat. Aww.
Scrub that paint off, taking the nice layer of skin off as well. Oh my gosh. While I was blow drying, I came up with the cutest name for this cat, Misty. Do you get it? Do you like it? Because she's mysterious. And because the original prompt was create a foggy scene, fog, mist, mysterious Misty. That's her official name.
Don't argue.
Let's do the back. Please don't ruin Misty, cause I like her. I have a lot of anxiety about the eyes because I feel like I need to get them perfect for them to look really cool. Okay, so it's like dark green on the top and then light green on the bottom. They're very large and they're very circular. Okay. Ah!
Poopy.
Got a little nose, her little inner ears, some little gray stripes up here. I have to do a very nice, smooth blend within this tiny area. Okay, that's actually not bad. Whew! Pupils right in the center of the eye. Last step for her is the little highlights in the eyes. Wow, all right, there she is, Misty. Yay! I actually like her. This was just the perfect design to accomplish in a short amount of time that actually looks nice. I'm very happy with it. And then I cut out the window. I realized you're supposed to put the window in front of like a real life scenario type thing, but reality's boring. Let's just make something up that's more fun. And this is high concept, so try to stay with me. You know how rainbows are in the clouds, right? So instead of putting an ordinary rainbow in the cloud, I put a rainbow cat in the cloud. I stole this idea from myself because I did a pin of this in my last Friday video and I really wanted to bring it back somehow in one of my books. And look, I made it happen. But first, I need to bring back Pimples.
Hi, Pimples.
Hello.
My weird cat thing needs a tail, so Pimples is going to happily provide that. Wait, where's the rest of it? No worries, the rest of it was just shoved in his neck rip. Okay. Removing that tail and placing it on the new host.
Ew.
I did take a little time to try to trim it up, but I should have taken a little bit more time. That's still not cutting it. Not cutting it enough. But I'm moving on to the ear situation. I'm impatient. Okay, so I'm chopping off these wildly large ears and stealing Pimples' little ears and placing them on. That looks a little derpy. Yeah, they look a little bit more like twins now. Next, I have the very tedious task of trying to make 1,000 little cuts on the foam to smooth out the chopped up areas, and I think I'll save these ears. You never know when a big pair of green ears may come in handy. Always remember that. And here are all my pieces cleaned up and ready to go. First, a quick sanding. I need to scrape up the surface of the foam to make sure that my paint will stick. Clean up that mess. And finally, we can start gluing stuff. So cutting a little chunk out of her backside so I can stick on the tail. It's a bit of a two-part journey thanks to Pimples' busted donation of a tail. No, we are grateful for it. We are always grateful to the parts donors. It's a big sacrifice. Then sticking the 2 ears on. Good. Simple. Next, I'm taking some puffy paint. It happens to be glow paint. I never actually paint glow-in-the-dark squishies, but I do use it to repair all of the seams and seal up any of the rough areas on the squishy. I'm also going to use it to stick the cats together so that it looks like one of the cats is climbing on the cake roll and the other is just kind of chilling around the bottom. Let that dry for several hours, then come back and yay! I need to do another coat because there's still holes in it. I'm trying to smooth out where I attached the tail here, but I actually did a pretty awful job of trimming that, so probably no fixing it at this point. For what it's worth, I am ashamed of it. I'll make sure to cry myself to sleep over it tonight. Finally, one last coat over the head, and there, now it's all dry and ready for paint. I'm gonna do a little white base coat over the entire squishy for a nice fresh start. Then I'm going in with the cake roll first. I want to change this to a
Rich, decadent chocolate.
much more appetizing than that weird factory yellow. Ugh. And oh my gosh, yes, I'm already into that. Since these two seem to be so enthralled by this cake roll, I decided that they should both be dessert themed. I went for a nice caramel color on this one. Oh, that seam on that tail, it just makes me feel bad. It's so bad. I'm gonna make the cream filling a caramel cream to match the cat. We're looking a little peanut butter cup here, but it's not. It's caramel chocolate. And then for this little chubby, ooh, I'm gonna go for a very light cream color that's chunky. Oh. This deserves an award. This is the chunkiest paint that I've ever attempted to use. Those are record chunks. Somehow made the paint work. Frankly, don't know how. Frankly, that's a spoiler. Spoiler! Nobody has any clue what I'm talking about right now. I'm bringing in the light tan to this little area here. I'm not exactly sure what that's supposed to be. Kind of looks like whipped cream. It's gonna be whipped cream. Also, the little dollop on top of our caramel cat's head. I'm bringing in a darker caramel, and I'm gonna paint that on. Wait. Poop.
I'm 4.
I'm adjusting the color a little bit because it's just not right. Then I'm painting in some caramel swirls, kind of like tiger stripes. It's like a dessert tiger that's not actually a tiger, it's just a regular cat. Oh, and I hate to say it, but the color's wrong again. So here we go again. Now I need to go over all of that again, this time traveling onto the back. Hopefully these caramel swirls will somehow distract from that hideous tail situation. Oh, you know what? I think it actually does. Hey, doesn't that look better?
No.
It actually does. Yay!
Time to clean it all up. Oh, nice. That's a little bit satisfying. Not like
Satisfying.
it's a little bit satisfying. And I'm ready to give her a face. Since the shape of the eye is very firmly indented into the foam, I kind of have to go with it. So I'm keeping those little teardrop shaped eyes. And this is where a little caramel tiger really comes to life, giving her a little smile, some eyelashes. Oh, okay. Suddenly I'm over here on the other cat. This cat is chubby. He's got some chocolate stripes and a little circle around his eye, which I'm pretty sure is more of a dog thing, but oh well. And some brown ears. Kind of looks like a dessert Siamese cat dog that's chubby. I'm giving him the same shaped eye since they are supposed to be twins. Clearly fraternal. I added some whiskers to both of them, and then Chubs' little facial expression. It's that. And I'm gonna give them some nice big cartoony eyes. Tiger looking down at Chubs, Chubs looking back up at her. And then I'm bringing in a little specialness. I'm adding a bunch of pastel funfetti to Chubs and painting the whipped cream on Tiger's head to match. Then I added a very bright pink inner ear. I actually don't hate it. Adding some very last finishing details on these. And here is the before and after. Kind of a weird comparison because these squishies really had nothing to do with each other before the makeover and now they're twins. I mean, I can't say that they have super strong twin vibes, but you're just gonna have to take my word for it. They are twins. Wait a second, can cats even be twins? Because like cats give birth to multiple cats, but you wouldn't call them twins. Do cat twins exist? This twin concept is falling apart. It doesn't matter. I really do love these two. Tiger is just so sweet and Chubs is so chubby. Look at that little face. I want to make things a little more interesting. So, hi, he's oh my gosh, stop eating it. Don't eat it. I got this in my last unboxing video, and I feel like now is the perfect time to bring him into this. He's very distracted by the cake. Just eat your corn. He's got a hearty appetite. Honestly, not 100% sure what he is. Could be a hamster, gerbil, gopher. Also, no clue what he's eating. Corn? Bread? Cornbread. I don't know. Doesn't really matter though, because all of this is going to be changed. Except those big cheeks. Those can stay. There's also help written on his backside and some words of encouragement from the donors.
Thank you guys. I love you too.
Now to the magic. I want to make it look like he's eating through the cake since he seems very eager to do so. Just gotta figure out. No! I think I have a plan. We're just gonna... Oh, ouch. Oh, this hurts. Ripping this squishy apart was almost too painful to talk about. This was my one good squishy, and I just ripped the thing to shreds like an animal. And now it's a totally mutilated cake chunk. Yeah, that looks more like the kind of squishy that I'm used to. This ribbon right here, I'll be removing that as well. It's gotta go. On the bright side, these two are now looking much more evenly matched. They both look like they came out of a dumpster. Now, about this gerbil hamster gopher. He's got a missing ear. Let's just even him up. Looking good. Now out with my parts box. Check out these little babies. Remember these? And I think I'll save these ears. You never know when a big pair of green ears may come in handy. Oh, how right I was. So I'm just gonna glue these on, and here we go. Ear reveal. Oh, what? Yes. Well, I'm not crying. Now these two are ready to come together. Taking my fabric fusion, I squeezed it and a huge glob came out. What the heck? It's okay. Saved it, and I'm gonna use it on the squishy. I'm rubber banding these two together to keep them that way while they dry. Sometime later, they are ready and nicely stuck together. Hooray. Now's the part where I smother every rip and seam with paint. These are two very large squishies, which combine to make an even larger, very large squishy. There's a lot to be done, okay? Many areas that need work. So just this part of the process took lots of layers of paint and waiting for the paint to dry, then adding more, and then waiting again, until finally we arrive here to the ugliest stage of the process. But don't worry, because it's painting time where everything gets better. I'm gonna go for a base coat on this one. This is really going to help clean up this giant mess and give me the chance for a nice fresh start to work on top of. So there we go. Wow, this is a big hunk of squishy that I've got here. You may not recognize this cat. That's right, hamster gerbil gopher no longer. He is now and forever shall be Cat. I recently made a squishy which was a pair of boy-girl fraternal cat twins called Tiger and Chubs.
You with me?
This is the return of Chubs. Clearly, he's got a healthy appetite, especially for cake, and so he has transformed
Into Mega Chubs.
Now about this cake, I am going to stick with a chocolate scheme, which I know it's not too different from the original, but I really thought it looked good in chocolate. I thought about making the cake into a caramel swirl cake to represent Tiger since she's not here, but I thought that that might look like Chubs is eating Tiger. He's Mega Chubs, not Mega Cannibal. So I'm painting along on this cake and getting hungrier by the minute. Doesn't it just look so appetizing? It was definitely a bit of a battle with these layers to try to get them all straight, but eventually I got it somewhat right. I'm going in with the strawberries, which really starts to bring it to life. I also added some texture to the cake just for fun and enjoyment. And there we have it. Cake's pretty much done. So I'm switching to clean up the edges a little bit and traveling onto the Chubs design. I'm going to keep his design more or less the same as it was originally. Oh, okay, we're back on the strawberries. Okay, yeah, fine. Go ahead and do that. It's finally time to meet him in all his meganess. You may notice there's a little something different about him this time. He's happy. Last time we saw him, he looked like this, and we all thought, oh, that's Chubs. That's his personality, you know? He's just like that. But no, he was just hungry. Give the man some cake, and he turns into this. But I feel like we are missing a little bit of chaos. Like, it's too neat. So I added some dripping frosting to his paws and on his face. Let's just make the cake kind of dripping as well. I just want to give the vibe that he is tearing this cake apart and making a giant mess with it. Finally, I'm adding some of the details and highlights, the little stripes on his back, and of course, the little funfetti spots, which I guess funfetti is technically sprinkles, so... Okay, now there's something wrong with that. Oh yeah, look at that. They are not the right colors. These are way too strong. Excuse me, let me fix this. We're gonna do a rewind remix of the sprinkle song.
I don't know. It was different. I tried it.
There, that looks more like it. So this is what I've made out of this cake squishy. There's a whole new being attached to it now, and isn't he a handsome one? I'm just loving this, okay? Mega Chubs, new favorite. Okay, he's mine. Once upon a time, there was a normal little cat called Chubs, whose sister Tiger was hogging all the food, and he was sad because he liked cake. But then he got some cake and became Mega Chubs. Cake is the most important thing to him, and I respect that. I'm going to choose the Moody cat. This kind of looks like something I would do now. I feel like this was the OG Shelly that we didn't even know existed. It's obviously not a fantastic drawing or anything, but it's got character. Although it is weird that I drew the tail the exact same way that I drew the tentacles on the octopus. Either the octopus has 8 tails or the cat has a single tentacle. Your choice. So let's get back to the good old sketchbook, to the next blank page. This one is interesting because the original drawing is so small and I'm drawing it so much bigger in the new version, and since I had so much more space to work with, I decided, let's add a couple things to it. I added a birthday hat that someone clearly tied crookedly around her head, adding to the irritation, and I also added quite a few details to the cake to make it a little bit more interesting. Once I was finished with the sketch, I went back and lightened up all of my pencil lines, and I'm going to try a new art supply today.
Woo!
The box says expert, so that must mean they're good, right? I bought these watercolor pencils on a whim. It was a Black Friday sale. Since I've been really into using the combination of watercolor and colored pencils for my drawings anyway, this is perfect. I'm pretty much using these as normal colored pencils, except I'm leaving a lot of really light areas and not too focused on making everything super evenly colored. I did notice this pencil in particular kept leaving these ugly black streaks. I don't know. Maybe there's a reason these were so highly discounted. That's fine. We're gonna work with it and continue on anyway. I have very minimal experience with watercolor pencils. I believe I used them once, like 5 years ago, maybe twice, but by no means an expert.
I guess I shouldn't be using these, huh?
But the concept I think is pretty simple. You just use them like regular pencils and then you can go over them with water, and then the pigment kind of melts and kind of gives you a watercolor effect. I'm not doing any outlining with this drawing, so the shading is quite important because I still want nice clean edges. I like the look of that, so I took a lot of time working on that and making sure that the edges were nice and neat. I went brown for the cat's fur, and I was just kind of like willy-nilly coloring it in, because I was like,
When I add the water, it's just gonna like blend it out. It's just gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be like so perfect.
yeah, well, that was a big fat assumption. This is where things got real annoying. This freaking pencil, oh, it makes me angry just looking at it. The lead was just crumbling like crazy. I'd sharpen it, try to use it, and it crumbles. Sharpen it again, try again, crumble. Sharpen again, crumble. Before you blame my pencil sharpener, no, it is an impossibility that my $3 pencil sharpener was the problem here.
Oh man.
Perfect, wonderful. Eventually, I sharpened the pencil far enough down where I got through the crumble zone and it started working somewhat. But yeah, that wasn't the last time that this happened. These pencils did have that issue over and over and over the whole time. Now that I've got a layer of pencil down over the entire drawing,
It's time for the water.
so we just dip and then blip, blip, bloop, dip, blip. Activate that pencil and turn it into watercolor. Now, this did work. It didn't work exactly the way I thought it would.
No.
It was quite splotchy in many areas and more difficult to control than I expected. At times it felt completely out of control, but when I'm trying something new, I never know how much to blame myself versus the product, because clearly I'm inexperienced with this. So it could be me, or it could be the product that's the problem. Me or the product? Me or the product? Me or the product? Me or the product? I don't know. There remains a mystery. I know that's very helpful for you. I never claimed this would be a tutorial, okay? I'm just doing stuff and you're just here to watch. I am not an educator. So now I'm gonna go over that with regular colored pencils, which makes me wonder, would it have been faster to just use regular watercolor and then pencils over top like I've been doing? Because I ended up having to color the whole drawing, then paint it with the water, and then color it again. Finally, with this last layer of colored pencil, my drawing is starting to look a little closer to what I was hoping for. I'm adding the juicy white highlights that make all the little shinies pop. Then just finishing up with some last details, I decided to add funfetti to the cake and some sprinkles.
Ooh, sprinkles.
And a last touch, of course we have to add the one and only thing that this cat has to say, and apparently this pony too. Add my signature and the date. Oh yes, bye-bye. I was trying to dry it, not waving at it, but kind of looks like I'm waving. Here we have it, the original and the new and improved version, hopefully. I did have quite a few mishaps along the way, but ultimately, I am actually really satisfied with this drawing. I think it emphasizes the attitude, although she does look a little bit more sad in the new version. In her eyes, there's a hint of melancholy. But I think with the birthday hat and the giant bow and it's like crooked, I think it looks even more like somebody has tried to force this birthday celebration on her and she's just not having it. It's weird because I didn't enjoy this drawing all that much with all the little annoying things that I had to deal with, but I really like the end, so it makes up for it. I'm gonna try to redeem myself with the gorgeous butter cat. This squishy is absolutely adorable, although she is just so torn up, definitely in desperate need of a makeover. Not a moment too soon for you, my dear. She is just not living life the way it was meant to be lived. The only problem is she is so cute, just cute. I was having trouble envisioning a different design that would look better on her, so I'm not aiming for better, I'm aiming for different. I love the drips on her back, so I want to keep those, but I did decide to swap the butter for a scoop of soft serve ice cream. So I cut that off the cone and then just removed the butter. I know, it's sad. I'm sorry. I trimmed up the little dollop and I'm just gonna stick that into the sauce. And now, oh, excuse me, I just need some space for my gun. I'm gonna use my fabric hot glue gun. Oh, no, this is not for you. It's time to just, oh, sorry. Hot glue. I'm gonna glue that dollop on and then go in with the puffy paint to seal around the seam. Now, I know that some of you are probably still crying about the butter being removed. I can hear the sobs right now. It's actually really distracting. Can you please take it down a notch? I'm here with you, okay? I loved the butter thing. Initially, I was thinking, I wanted to keep it, so I was gonna turn this cat into a pancake, and then the butter would kind of make a little bit more sense. Then I realized I've actually seen a version of this exact same squishy as a pancake, so I decided to just take this in a whole different direction. Once the repairs were done, I went in with chocolate. Haven't we had enough chocolate? I mean, Sunday, she's enough. No, we have not. We need more chocolate. So I painted this entire cat chocolate. Just the whole thing, okay? Not that much, just everything. Once she was covered in chocolate, I'm gonna cover her in more chocolate. I decided to go in with the same kind of theme and scheme as Sunday, but instead of the dark chocolate, maybe edible bowl, this cat is dipped in dark chocolate, and I'm turning the butter drips into a purple dessert sauce. I thought that light purple would look nice against the chocolate, so this kitty is gonna have purple accents instead of Sunday's yellow accents. We're gonna make them different but the same but different. The ice cream I covered in that same lovely but strange French vanilla, and then I ended up going in for a dark chocolate ear as well, which I think looks very cute. Finally, I'm adding the face, and at first I went with that same excited expression as Sunday, but I thought that looked a little bit psychotic on this one, so I painted over that, and I'm gonna go a little more subdued with the expression. Still excited, but more subdued excitement, maybe still psychotic, but not as obviously psychotic. I did go with a purple for the face for this one to match the purple sauce. It was looking a little bit weird, so I tried a handful of things to unweird it. I added some little French vanilla catch lights and then some dark chocolate eyebrows. Ooh, hated the eyebrows. Those are just awful. Kept the catch lights, but honestly, it still looks weird. Oh well. Moving on to the sprinkles, I added those both to the purple sauce and to the dark chocolate area. And here's the final squishy. It's a little Cheshire cat. She's kind of cute. I love her and I hate her, and that's the best way that I can explain my feelings for her. Here she is with Sunday. I guess we should name her Monday, just to be stupid.
Hey, it's Monday.
Will we see a full week of chocolate animals?
Probably not, but maybe.
I think together these look pretty cute. Sunday and Monday. Okay, now it's time for the frog. This frog is cute, very minor, small damage on it, so it doesn't really need any repairs, but I feel like it's just missing something. It's one solid color with a basic face. It's just kind of, And I think most of us agreed when I unboxed this one that he could use a species change. So I decided to change this frog into a cat. Like the bear, he's too smooth to paint on. So here we go with the sanding again. So I'm gonna sit him here so he can watch step 1 of his species change. I'm just using some scrap memory foam to construct a tail. I was not sure if it was gonna look right, but it's just not a cat without a tail. So I had to do it and take the risk. So I cut a big fluffy tail for him and I used some fabric glue to glue it in place. Now, I don't really know if this frog was aware of his changing body or if he really even wanted these changes to happen, but I imagine it was a very confusing time for him. So again, I'm using the glow paint to secure everything and put a nice thick coat on the memory foam because memory foam needs a lot more paint on it to cover all the little holes. So now it's a frog with a big wet looking carrot. Exactly what I was going for. Now I'm mixing up a nice tan color. This is advanced, so don't try this at home. I'm gonna give him a more cat-like color, all except his head, because I have to have something dry to hold on to. So it's now a frog head with a cat body. It makes me kind of uncomfortable to look at it. Now I'm covering the head and it's definitely looking more like a cat now. That green color was a little stubborn. It took 3 coats to cover it, but it did finally get the picture and get lost. Time to add the catness. So I'm adding some brown stripes on him, painting the end of the tail, giving him a white chest, which I was going to make into a heart, but then I thought it looked dumb, so I changed it. Now I'm adding all the little details of his face, some little pink cheeks and all that kind of good stuff. The cheeks were a little obnoxious, so to tone them down, I just put on a couple thin layers of that cat color, and that worked nicely to tone those down. And I didn't end up adding a mouth, which I'm sure I'm gonna hear a lot of complaints about. I thought someone was going to have a heart attack when I didn't add a nose to the cat ice cream cone I made last time, but you know, I think it looks good just like it is. It looks complete to me, it looks balanced. Sometimes you don't need to show every single little thing. You can get away with removing parts or simplifying things a little bit. But yes, this is the final cat, and I would say the species change was a very successful operation. I am really happy with how naturally the tail fits in and looks part of it. I think it had potential to look really messed up, so I was nervous about that. I do think that he is still a little confused. It's okay, he'll get used to it. And guess what? We have a whole other situation on our hands. What have I signed up for here? It's a cat head, and if I know squishies like I think I do, I recognize this as the body of a fox squishy. Separately, they're completely mutilated, hopeless body parts, but together, they create one complete, beautiful cat with some fox-like instincts. So let's make this happen. I'm gonna start by sanding the pieces to make sure that my paint sticks. Then, I need to glue the head onto the body. This is the obvious way to do it, but what do we have her looking like this? Looking over here, or maybe tilted to the side? Oh my gosh. I'm gonna glue it, and then yes, oh my gosh, that little head tilt.
She's so innocent.
Now all I have to do is seal up the seam, and boom. Moving on to the base coat, covering the whole squishy in white. And while I do this, I'm thinking about how I want to design this cat squishy. I mean, let's face it, I've done a lot of cat squishies. I tend to like cats. I have everything from plain cats, cats and desserts, cats as desserts, cats with desserts, cats in costumes, cats in love with food. So I wanted to be sure that this cat was unique. So for the color scheme, I've chosen 6 shades of white. What? Okay, no. I'm gonna use this white to create a set of the most gentle pastels you've ever seen. Oh, would you look at those? I realized that as much as I love rainbow, I don't actually have a character who is just completely rainbow. I have characters with rainbow sprinkles, rainbow accents, rainbow accessories, holding rainbow acorns and rainbow seashells, but I can't think of a single one who is just rainbow. So that needs to change. I'm adding a couple coats of this pastel rainbow paint with a nice gentle blend.
Gosh, it's beautiful.
Then onto the back, I'm doing the same thing. Next, I'm going to add a cute little face, and I want this cat to have just the most innocent expression. She's a pastel rainbow kitty, and she could never do anything wrong. I added some nice little blush to her cheeks, which was kind of annoying to blend out because it's over top of a rainbow gradient. I had to like blend a blend into a blend. I made her nose a heart and added her little ears and her little toesies. One side is pink and the other is purple. Oh, it's so sweet. I tried tried adding some gray into her eyes to give them a little dimension. I don't know, I guess it worked. Lots of little shinies, my signature, and here is the final before and after.
Ooh, it's so cute.
Now, for an unfixable project, this was actually super easy since it just worked out. I had a head and a body that fit together, but hey, I'm not complaining. This is just adorable. I'm super happy with her. She's my little rainbow. You know what? That's her name. Her name is Rainbow. Okay, that's it. I love you, Rainbow. Let's do another one, shall we? How about one for the sour candy? Grapefruit. I didn't even see the grapefruit one. That tastes really accurate like grapefruit. Shall I make a sour grapefruit character? Should I make it like an actual grapefruit, or should I just make it a grapefruit themed character? A character that's themed like a grapefruit. I don't want to do another blob. That's too amazing. I'm not gonna do another blob. What's a good sour character? Which animal would be most likely to do the butthole lips? Fish?
Not a fish.
I want to bite this and I shouldn't. What animal has like a sour personality? A cat. But I do so many cats. They're excellent. Okay, I'm sorry. It's gotta be a cat. I feel like she's real round because, you know, grapefruit or round. Kind of like... Okay, no. She's... Stop it. So dramatic. She's gonna have real tiny little cat ears and then a little tiny tail. Oh, that's not tiny at all. Oh, I kind of like it fluffy though. Paws are gonna be kind of resting at her side. This is looking
Really weird.
I don't like it. Maybe her arms are higher up. What the heck am I doing? What is that? That's kind of ridiculous. Oh, that's better. That works for me. She has got a sour attitude. I like this kind of lime green that's on the packaging. I feel like maybe incorporating this color. How do I make it look grapefruit? Should I literally put like grapefruit? Like make her belly. Oh, wait, that's kind of cute. The little grapefruit belly. What if we add just a little bit of a leaf? I think I'm ready to just clean up the outline. Some of these details I don't want with a black outline, so I'm just gonna start in with the color. There she is. She's looking okay. I feel like I like the sketch better, and then I did this to it, and I'm like, I'm just gonna start coloring in the rest of her. There's the first layer of color. I tried to go green with the face, but you can't really see her face now. I'm gonna have to figure out something to make the face a little bit more visible. I mean, I don't know. Is this getting weirder? I kind of like it weird. Maybe I'm liking this a little bit more now. I'm gonna give her some little spots like the outside of a grapefruit would have. This is looking less and less like a mouth and more like not a mouth. Should I turn it into a nose maybe? No! No. There we go. I was ruining it. I think I'm just gonna add detail to the pink areas now. The glowing green eyes are kind of weird, but also I kind of like them and I kind of don't want to take them away because they're kind of interesting. Kind of punchy, you know? It's kind of like punch, like a sour punch. Sour punch. Kids. No, Sour Patch Kids. Punchy, sour punch. Punch means sour, right? She's punchy. Her name's Punchy. Let's allow her to exist on a nice green background. Doesn't punchy also mean dumb?
I don't know, I'm dumb.
The green took a turn a little bit and I went a lot darker than the packaging green, but there also is something missing in the facial region. Overall, I think that the colors are beautiful and the character is so cute and I really like her. This character is based on a drawing I did in Spark of this cat. The Spark was to create using red, and so I created this cat with red on red on red and a little bit of green. I mean, I had to do that. So I know I said this is not about exact replication, but I really love the original red that I used for this, so I want exact replication. Turns out that color was much easier to achieve digitally than with real paint. Whew, I was struggling. Oh, yuck. That's the yuck version. Eventually, I got some colors that I was pretty happy with. Now, this cat drawing was something I did off camera. I've been waiting for an opportunity to bring her into my videos because I just love this character design. Also, just such a unique color, and it reminds me of red velvet cake, which reminds me her name is Red or Velvet.
What?
I can't decide. Velvet. I just decided. Her name is Velvet. Or you could call her Red. I wouldn't be mad. Velvet has got some pretty legitimate accessorization skills here. I mean, this bow is just serious, okay? It's got some things going on with it. That strawberry, I mean, yo, what am I even saying? The original does have the ribbons that are kind of flowing down. I did omit those from the Blob Universe version because I just felt like it might make it look too busy. I actually like the Blob version a little bit better, so I'm happy about it. Now for the face. Fortunately, I had a paint pen in just the right perfect color. I debated about doing the face in black, but I don't know, something about the lack of harsh contrast. It's more velvety.
Okay.
I added a little tummy patch and some fur around, and then some fur around the tummy patch, which something about that reminds me of a Yeti. No, Abominable Snowman. No, I don't know. It reminds me of something. On the back, I just added the end of the tail. I made a little bit darker. Kind of looks like it's been dipped in blood. No, forget that. Don't think about that. Finally, adding my signature, and it's done. Velvet, the Blob of Blob Universe, exists. I hate to be the one to say it, but she's
Gorgeous. I'm sorry.
I love how unique her colors and accessories are. She's just so cute. I'm so happy about it. And her tail is so not dipped in blood. I wish you could experience holding this in your hand because something about it is just so satisfying. Maybe I'm on my own little planet here. I just think these are so cool. Start with this squishy. Now, I used to do squishy haul videos with the squishies that I bought for makeovers, but this one actually isn't in any of those videos. I guess it was one of my dark secrets. That was the worst evil laugh on the planet. I did buy it around the same time that I was buying all these squishies. Now, it looks to be a small child in a galaxy tiger costume. I did get some use out of it. As you can see, there's some rippage, and it does have this lovely little manufacturing defect.
We call those squishy birthmarks.
Although it's less of a mark, more of a
Gaping wound.
Squishy birth wounds.
Don't worry, they cause no pain to the squishy. See? Painless. I think the only thing I really dislike about this squishy design is that the galaxy continues over the face. So you're a galaxy-themed human in a galaxy-themed costume?
What is that?
Also, that mouth. Why? That mouth is just awful, let's be honest. But, yeah, I'm playing with it.
I'm 4 years old.
Enough fun, it's time for murder. But not really. There's just some little frilly foamy bits hanging off the seams, so I'll just trim those away. Next is sanding. If you're new here, is anyone new here watching a squishy makeover for the very first time? Anyone? Do I see? Oh yes, you in the back, I see you. So let me explain. I sand the squishies to roughen up the surface. Without sanding, the paint has a tendency to just peel right off, and we don't like that. That's done, just go ahead and dust her off. Now about the squishy birth wound. I got out a paintbrush and I'm just exploring that for some strange reason. Okay, let's stop. I'm gonna grab a tiny piece of memory foam, a little snack, and I'm gonna stick a little bit of that inside of the wound. Now I've got some puffy paint. It's this weird like dual color swirl paint, and I'm gonna start using that to repair the neck rip. I bought a ton of this swirl paint because I thought it looked fun, but of course I quickly realized, when do you ever really need that? You don't, ever. It's just way prettier in the bottle than it is when it actually comes out. It ends up looking like just a hot mess. Anyway, now I guess this is my repair paint. And now I do not want the being inside of the costume to be a human being. I want it to be an animal being. And the last time I saw an animal with bangs was never. So that's right, she's gonna need a haircut. I'm gonna try to remove the bangs and make the face as even as possible. Yikes. We will fix that later. I'm thinking I'm gonna keep the ears, but make them a part of the being inside of the costume instead of being on the costume. Stop saying being.
So what kind of costume is it then?
Thank you for asking. Was that you in the back? I knew it was you in the back. Welcome. I have a vision, okay? I'm dreaming of a frog. Just frog. So you stay there. I went on the hunt for some bulging frog eyes. I found this turtle with the worst little little smile. I can't even look at that. It's horrible. Its head is about the shape that I need. Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful looking frog eye? But obviously I need 2 of them. I found this turtle with clearly a different sized head, and oh my gosh, it's creepy. Then I found this one, which looks very similar, but also not the same as either one of these. I found these 2. Okay, not even close. Then I finally came to my senses and gave up on the turtle thing. Why am I trying to use turtles for frog eyes? And I found this. It's an actual frog head thing. It's honestly beautiful. Okay, it's a nice pristine packaging. Looks brand new. Oh, it even comes with a lily pad keychain. Oh my god. So I kind of hate to do it, but if you want to follow your dreams, you gotta cut the eyes off of a perfectly good frog bun.
I always give great advice here.
So I've got my eyes. I'm doing this terrifying thing. Now, the eyes go here.
They look like olives.
I'm gonna glue those in place and then go around the seams with some puffy paint just to make sure they're on nice and securely and everything is nice and neat. Also, the time has come to try to fix this mess that I've made. Going over that and trying to smooth down the paint as much as possible. And after that dried, it's looking rough again. So I need to go over and over that to try to smooth things out. Okay, and now we are ready for the paint job. Woo! Whoa, come on, let's celebrate. Yeah, painting. So I'm gonna make the cat a nice light brown. And as I'm painting, I realized it kind of looks like a cat in an alien costume. I'm kind of loving it. And I'm wondering, did I make the right decision about the frog? But you know what? Let's not change courses now. Bringing out the green, and I'm painting the costume. Now, I am gonna keep that alien idea in the back of my mind, and likely it'll come out later in some future project. But for this time, I am really connecting with this cat in the frog costume. In fact, she has a name. It's Winifred. You know, sometimes my squishies go nameless, and sometimes the name is just so obvious. She was just screaming.
My name's Winifred.
So now I just need to go back over the face and arms to do some little touch-ups. Also painting those big bulging frog eyes and giving the costume a little yellow belly because I thought that that would be cute. Finally, it's time to work on her face.
What a gorgeous face it is.
She needs a little blush. Oops.
Oh, ew.
Don't worry, we'll fix you right up. Oof. We'll let that soak for a sec. And I'm going to add a little accessory on her head, adding in the little ears, and finally painting in the face. I thought it would look cute to make some big wide open eyes on the cat that look just like the big wide open frog eyes. So it's kind of like a mirror of eyes, which sounds really weird now that I'm saying it out loud. Winifred here has to pay the price for that idea and wear this very worried look on her face. She worries and worries and worries. She's worried that she's worrying because she worries that she's worried. So sorry about it, little Winnie. It's gonna be okay, don't worry. Oh wait, you have to. I finished up with some of the little details, including the bow. It is kind of weird because the bow is on her head, but it's on the frog's cheek. But it looks cute if you don't think about it too much. And here is the before and after. Yes, my nails are different colors in all of the after shots. If you notice that and it's distracting for you, I'm sorry. If you didn't notice it before, but now it's going to distract you, I'm very sorry. And now the new version is quite a bit more expressive. Oh boy, what a face. I mean, you know, I could have just gone with a cute, happy face and called it a day and we all would have been fine. But Winifred, she represents the worrier inside of all of us with the constant what ifs, irrational fears, and paranoia, and what's gonna happen, and oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind. On a happier note, I recorded the squishing of this with my microphone on, and it's quite satisfying to listen to. I feel better. Let's start by doing something about those ears. Choose your weapon. Bye-bye ears. I'm cutting these off with very small cuts at a time because I don't want any scarring to occur. Yes, this guy lost his ears today, but I'm going to construct him a brand new pair so it's all good. Using some scrap memory foam, I'm cutting out a triangle, then cutting that in half. My plan is to make this into an ice cream cat. So I'm making some cat ears and I'm cutting down the foam, rounding it out until it's the shape that I want. Now that I have 2 ears that are roughly the same, I'm gonna attach them onto his little head with that same fabric fusion glue, rubber band those babies on, and wait 30 minutes. Once that's dry, we can finally get to the painting. I'm actually going to stick with a very similar color scheme as the original, so I'm going with white for the head, and I did have to use several thick layers of paint on the memory foam parts to get them to look at least somewhat smooth, but surprisingly, the hardest thing to cover was actually those little indents of his eyes. They just kept coming back. I was like, what the? Why did they keep coming back? I don't want to be able to see those because I wanted to change the eyes, so I eventually did build up enough paint to where you couldn't see them anymore. And now I'm gonna take a break from the head and paint the cone, which was pretty quick and painless, so yeah, cone color painted, okay. And then I'm gonna paint over the melted cookie. I'm gonna use some brown paint to make it look like hot fudge or something, and of course, we must add sprinkles to that. So while the paint is still wet, I'm gonna throw on some sprinkles to give this squishy a little splash of fun and color. Then I'm gonna turn it over and paint over that little ruffle thing. I don't know why I waited so long to paint that. I was avoiding it for some reason, but it's time. And now it's time for the face. Ha. I liked that the original had these little pink cheeks, so I'm gonna recreate that using a little scrap piece of foam, and then I'm gonna use that same pink color for the tongue, which he didn't have before, so you're welcome, and the insides of the ears as well. And I did make the eyes like laughing eyes because I felt like it was kind of weird looking to have wide open eyes when the mouth was laughing. Then I'm adding some whiskers, and I did touch up that little bit there that's kind of messy. I touched that up later. And here it is, my cat ice cream cone. This may be my favorite makeover for this episode. I just love how it turned out. I was nervous about doing the ear replacement surgery. I didn't know if I was up to the task, but I think it turned out really well actually. And I like the changes that I made to the eyes. I think that helped a little bit too. I think mine is a little boy, and he takes after Eustace, but he's gonna have Shelly's heart. I'm going for the painting.
Me too. Let's go.
I have covered my little guy in a Eustace, but a little bit later.
He's baby Eustace.
I like that yours can stand. Mine, he's
Growing
thriving,
up.
even with 2 broken knees. He's up there, like, strong. Where's the fat dotting tool? Did you laugh at the squeezing paint noise?
Yeah.
Adult.
We are adults.
Yeah, we were both
27.
Is this the same color?
I think it is, yeah. It's hard to tell
Oh, is
sometimes
it? Oh,
with
is
the glare.
it? Is it?
With the glare.
Or are we going to obsess? Excuse me. Kind of have the half and half thing going on here.
Oh, that's cute. I like that.
Okay, thanks. Who is this little being? He's a combination of a grumpy cat and a creepy cat. So what does that mean? Kind of angry, but happy about being angry?
Okay.
Like,
Okay, so a little like crazy.
exactly. Flash forward to when everything's been cleared away and they're finished. Do I have paint in my hair?
You do? I saw it earlier.
Oh,
then I forgot to say
okay.
something.
Thank you for letting me know. That's fine. I'm just wearing it. So we have our little children made. Shelly and Eustace's child, Derek. He gets into some trouble here and there, but he's still lovable.
Oh, sorry. Oh my gosh. Derek! Don't you speak to
Oh
my
my
daughter
God.
ever again!
So here's our first victim. Some serious violent crimes have been committed against this little fellow. I think the murder weapons were scissors and a Sharpie. Somebody had fun with a Sharpie. Doesn't look like it was an accident either. There's a giant slice right through the face, a slice through the ear, and of course the severed foot. Oh, look at that. They scribbled on his flesh. Aside from his many mutilations, I'm not a huge fan of the pink and orange color combination, so let's see what we can do with this. And look, I've already made my first mistake. Orange was the wrong color choice for the background. I'm gonna start by taking some sandpaper to this. This will just rough up the texture of the foam and prepare it for paint. Now for fixing all of the rips, I'm just gonna take some fabric glue and just spread it on in there. And then I'm using a rubber band to hold everything together while the glue dries. Oh, and another. That'll do it. Once that's dry, I'm removing the rubber bands. I'm gonna give the squishy a break for a second. I'm gonna bring out a chunk of memory foam. I thought it would be cool to add a little something to this, so I'm just cutting out a dome shape. It's gonna be a nice little hat. So I'm smoothing and smoothing. Here we are. And his hat is actually
Not a hat at all.
it's a cherry. So I'm gluing that on, and yes, the cherry is almost the same size as the ice cream cone. Totally accurate proportions right there. Now I'm going in with a completely random color of paint, just basically to smooth over the rough areas and fill in the holes, rips, gaps, and cracks. The bottom is looking like an earthquake aftermath, so that's gonna need some work. Just using a nice layer of paint to create a smooth surface that we can then paint over. We use a lot of paint here. That's all dry, and he's ready for decoration. So I'm painting this with a light chocolate color, and as you can see, this is going to take several coats to cover up that mess that's underneath, so we shall keep going. Is he actually a cat made of chocolate, or does he just have chocolate brown fur?
I don't know. I don't have the answers. I just ask the questions.
I will say this brown looks just awful against that orange background. Thank you. Orange is just not your color, buddy. Okay, we got his body covered. Now bring in the ice cream. What's the flavor? What is it?
It's mint.
So that's right, I'm doing a nice mint ice cream for his head. I'm hoping to create a more kind of appetizing color combination than the original, which was a fluorescent orange and a fleshy pink. So now we have a lovely milk chocolate and a refreshing mint. Adjectives. I'm trying to unsee this, but it kind of looks like the ice cream cone is like a piece of shrapnel that pierced his skull, and then the ice cream is kind of like his brains that are bursting out.
Okay, all right then.
I'm starting to move on to the toppings. I'm painting that cherry, which somehow looks even bigger now. It's growing. Well, who doesn't like a massive cherry? Do you want
A cherry on top?
or do you want... And onto the little cone, giving that a quick coat. And then I'm going in and cleaning up this very messy ice cream edge that's all the way around, going over that twice to make sure to get nice even coverage. And yes, that looks much better. It was so difficult to choose design ideas for these two cats because I feel like I could design 100, so many possibilities. I need to get a collection of these. I mean, I could do rainbow, cookies and cream, strawberry lemonade, rainbow, cookie dough, blue raspberry, cotton candy, funfetti, rainbow. I have a lot of ideas, is what I'm trying to say. I'm now working on some touch-ups, just fixing some of the edges so that everything looks neat. And I decided to give him a dark brown chest. Do cats ever have a darker colored chest? I don't think so. That's probably why this looks very awkward. But I'm ignoring that and just adding some chocolate chips to the mint ice cream. And now it's actually looking a lot more like ice cream. That really did it for me. And at this point, I've realized that his chest looks just ridiculous, and I hate it. So I'm wiping that away with some toilet paper.
Wiping the poo-poo.
So now I get to repaint that area like it never happened. This time, I'm just gonna stick with some little stripes, give him a little chest hair, and define the paws a little bit more. Oh, and it's showtime for the face. I did sketch out the face beforehand. It just makes it a lot easier to do that off camera and then be able to just kind of trace over the lines. I'm trying to avoid another situation. I made his expression kind of like... since he has ice cream on his head and he's hungry for it. Last touch, added a little brown on his tail, and boom, we are done. I think it's a great makeover. I like the new design. It's just, you know, more interesting, has better detail than before. You would never know that he'd been sliced through the face and that his foot had been ripped off. I'm sure some people will have problems with the face. They always do. Everyone thinks they can do better.
It's fine. I'm fine.
I like to give each squishy its own personality and try different expressions on their faces, so I like to experiment. Did this one come out slightly creepy? No. Does he look kind of like he wants to eat your face off? No. Anyway, I am actually very happy with it. I think he looks cute.
I'll keep him.
Moving on to the other ice cream cat, it's the same squishy with different injuries. The most obvious is that her cone is broken off and missing, but notice that's not all that's missing. The cone took her ear. She now only has one ear, but that's okay. Oh yes, and that. The previous owner provided me with a rubber band. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Woo, we're in space. with. This damage could have easily happened over time with use instead of vicious acts of violence. Judging by how dirty this squishy is, it's been used a lot. So I'm gonna sand this, or these.
I have 2 squishies.
And to get the squishy back in one piece, I'm just using my glue and I'm gonna glue it back in one piece. I was just gonna use the same rubber band that was sent with it, but it was too stretched out. How did that happen, I wonder? So I'm grabbing a fresh rubber band. Oh. That one's much better. Here's one that'll work, and I'll go ahead and fix up the ear as well. She's only got one left, so let's make it good. Now that everything's back together, maturity is my best quality. We have to deal with this. So I dug up this random little cupcake squishy. I'm pulling out the little pin and throwing it on the ground. I ended up stepping on that several days later. And instead of having ice cream spilling down its head, she's gonna have a cupcake spilling down her head, which makes a lot less sense. But for some reason, I was really happy with this idea. I have plenty of little ice cream squishies that I could have used to replace the cone that was missing here, but it would have been a differently shaped cone than the other one. I feel like if I had names for all of them, it would be so much easier to talk about them. Okay, his name's Eustace. If I had replaced the cone with some cone from a random squishy, it would have been a different cone than the one that's on Eustace. If they're gonna be different anyway, why not just embrace that and make them even more different from each other? So I went for a cupcake. I'm gluing the cupcake in place, and then since Eustace had a cherry, I decided to give her, what do we call her? The Shelly. We're gonna give Shelly a topping as well. I found this little strawberry squishy, so I'm chopping that up to the right size, which is still enormous, and then I'm gluing that on. Now everyone's here and in place. Time to seal all of the pieces together. There are a lot of very rough areas to cover on this squishy, particularly in the head region. Rough. So this took several layers of paint, just kind of globbing that over top of the mess until it looks a little bit better. You know, that's how you clean up all messes. Just glob a bunch of paint over it. I had this idea to try to cover up the bumpiness by adding like a tier of frosting on top, like layered drips, but that just looked like crap. So I ended up just smoothing that out and forgetting about that idea. And then I just moved on to painting the entire head white. Oh, and the body's white now too. That's my base coat so that I can go in with a light pink for the cat color. So I'll just do several coats of that pink to build up the color until, you know, that looks good and nice, and I'm stalling, and okay, it looks good and nice. I'm painting another coat of white on the top. I'll admit that the cupcake sticking out of the head, it's slightly strange, I guess. It doesn't read as well as the ice cream cone, but it's a good idea.
Nice try.
I'm just gonna keep on rolling with it since it's kind of too late to turn back now. Now I'm going for another coat of white on the frosting. This time I'm doing a nice thick coat, and I'm smoothing that out as much as I can. When you apply thick coats of paint like this, the paint does flatten out a little bit as it dries, so you don't have to like obsess about it too much, but just get it roughly smooth. That makes no sense. Oh, and
Here's where it gets good.
I'm gonna add some little circular sprinkles while the paint is still wet.
No.
Okay, and once all of that dries, I'm gonna clean up those edges. This one, I wanted to have an annoyed expression. She's just very annoyed that there's currently a cupcake on her head. I mean, can you blame her? An ice cream cone ate her ear. I gave her some white paws. It kind of looks like she stepped in frosting. I'm okay with that. And I fixed up her face a little. Her whiskers are very crooked, so I'm gonna paint over one side and then just repaint those. That's better. Adding some little details to her tail and her ears, or ear, and it's done. This one I think came out pretty amazing. I think I like this one even better than what's his name? Eustace. I'm really happy with it. Even though the cupcake sticking out does look a little bit weird, I still really like it. It kind of reminds me of this drawing that I did in my Create This book way back in the day. I love how annoyed she looks.
Freaking cupcake on my head.
And it's time to bring in her creepy companion, companion. It's Eustace. He looks like the type that'll try to get just a little too close. I think these two look really cute together. I'm very happy to add these two to my collection. Thank you so much for watching my cat compilation. That was a long one. If anyone is still here and listening to this, wow, thank you.
You have dedication to cats.
I'll see you guys next time. Bye.